What's your favorite ad lib?
Straight up.
It's the dog.
What is happening?
Man, I was very excited to do this podcast. That answer just went so many different directions. No, let's not get into that. Well, let's get into it.
Cardi B.
I chose my own ad lib.
That was your own ad lib?
Remember when
what'd
we
you
did it for No Limit?
Wow. Wow.
Girl from Azad.
Self-conceited.
That's good. That's
Okay.
a good one.
Thanks.
You think that's a good one?
I like that. That was a good album.
Yeah, but I mean, just like choosing yourself was just a little...
You know,
That's fine.
we a little
Hey,
selfish on this
If no one else
podcast.
loves you, you love yourself. It's like, no. I'm joking.
Ouch, the truth though.
You went with Travis Scott.
It's not my favorite ad lib, but
That's a good one.
It's a good one. Straight up. Yo, yeah, it's funny.
Actually, you went a little down when you did it.
Yeah. You can
It's
tell
a good
so.
one.
And yours, what is
Oh,
that?
DMX,
DMX.
king of ad libs.
Okay.
Greatest ad libs of all time. Every time, and it's just like
Whoa.
sometimes I'll just use. Actually, you know what? I
He
just thought
copies
about this.
the dogs though. He gets the ad libs from the dogs.
You think he uses real dogs? I was thinking about this. Actually, like Michael Jackson has probably the best ad libs of
Oh,
all
yeah.
time. Yeah, like all those.
Interesting.
And that's why I didn't like when he did his feature on Drake's album,
Oh.
Scorpion.
No ad libs.
No ad libs. That's
He
what
could have went harder.
Yeah, he could have. He could have went hard. Like the thing is, like
Oh my
Michael
God.
Jackson, like one of the greatest things about any of his songs are the ad libs.
Okay.
And that's actually when it said featuring Michael Jackson, I thought that's all it was gonna be was like ad libs. That's what I was thinking actually. It was like, oh, he can't get like a song from him.
Yeah.
They've already been done. But yeah, cool. Anyways, welcome back to another episode of Strange Flavors. This is brought to you by Alif Theory. My name is Faras.
My name is Scorpion, aka Shimmer.
My name is Amber.
Scorpion season. Apparently,
And-
it's Cancer season though.
My voice is weird. This podcast, leave me alone.
AKA the dog. Yeah, guys. So, if you don't know, we said on the last time, what? Why did you make that noise?
What noise?
What
Wait.
noise did he make?
I heard a little.
I think that's your inside your
No, I
head.
literally heard you going.
No, no.
I didn't hear it.
Okay, sometimes you're just snailing around over there. But
The slimiest out.
we're going to UPNA in Dallas, performing with Mickey Singh,
Whoop, whoop.
and that's gonna be on July 6th. So come out to that if you're in Texas.
It's
It'll
gonna
be
be
super lit.
so lit.
And we're going to be hanging out on both days. So if you want to come see us, hang out, whatever, like we're down for it and we'll set that up.
Tickets will be in the description.
Yeah, thank you for that, Amber. And also after that, the squad, the boys, the Bando boys are going to California. That's going to be from July 8th to the 16th. We're going to be in San Diego, LA, and San Francisco. If you're around any of those places,
Let us
let us
know.
know. We'd love to meet up. And, if we're going to do something on the way, you can always join us. That'll be pretty fun. Okay, so this is what it comes down to. This is going to be, as our 55th episode unfolds, one of coming to not an end, but like a pause.
A season
as
finale.
Ayan would
Pause.
say. Pause. Yeah, it's going to be a while that we're going to take a break and we're going to get back to it. But for right now, this is kind of the last one for a while. What we want you to do in the meanwhile, everybody listening who's a fan that tunes in every week, first of all, we appreciate the heck out of you. It's
We appreciate everything.
Like,
Yes.
you didn't have to listen to us for an hour every single week, but you do, and you care about our guests, which is like the greatest thing. That's what makes this episode. So we have to shout out like all of our guests, and everybody listening right now. So if you're somebody who is really dedicated, who loves tuning in every week, why don't you go ahead and take this time to listen to the old ones? I'm sure you didn't listen to every single episode, but there is a lot of gold in all of them.
Yes.
And I say from the bottom of my heart that every single guest that we have had on did something for us, and we hope that
Most
they can do
definitely.
something for you as well. On that note, let's talk about kind of like our experience with this podcast and what it sort of did for us. So I know, Amber, you were the most upset when we kind of
What?
came to this decision.
What are you
Tears.
guys talking about?
The tears came out.
No,
The tears came
I don't
out.
know what you guys
The
are
tears.
talking about. Okay,
So-
so when we were talking about the season finale happening, like I kind of, well, stop it. If you guys are gonna come at me for
No,
everything
okay,
I
okay,
do,
okay.
how am I
Go,
supposed
go,
to
go,
talk?
go, go.
Okay.
Okay, so like when we said that the season finale would happen, it made me really senti because from week to week, like every single week, we have this designated time to get together, and the three of us, like we've been through like listening to every single episode, I feel like we kind of go through a journey together, like weekly. And so we kind of share that experience together. And so for me,
And
it
for
was
you guys,
just
you kind of went through the journey of hell.
I mean, you know, you're annoying, but like I still love you, you know, and like I love having you guys.
Oh, I'm
like
so
every
glad this
single
is
week.
recorded.
Shut
I'm
up.
gonna play this back. I still love you. I still love you. I still love you.
Well, I do. I love you guys so much. Like you guys have like just the podcast alone has made you guys some of the most prominent people in my life, and that has changed my life.
And now it's
obviously.
going away.
Wow.
And now it's going away.
We
and
had
now
that
I'm gonna-
effect on people.
And
anyway.
now this
Just
time
kidding.
that we would have been recording, I'm just gonna spend in my room in a dark corner crying.
Amber, that was very sweet of you, I have to say. That was a
Yeah.
very sweet thing that you just said. I'm going to remember that, and I'm going to play it back
I still love you.
a good amount of
I
times.
still love you.
But no, like, it was, I'm so glad that you guys wanted to do this.
No, it was so dope. Like I remember you asking us, and we're just like, "What?" And then like every.
I had no idea what you guys were
Yes.
going to say, by the way.
I mean,
was like,
to be
I was like, I
honest,
don't wanna
like
force this.
any project you do, like, we know it's gonna be good.
Yeah,
So like
like-
you asking us to be a part, like, it was just like, yo.
My heart. I cannot wait to play this back. Okay, 6
I was
minutes.
on
13
campus.
Okay.
I was on campus when you had messaged me, and I remember I had so many people around me when I got that message, and I lit up, and I was like, "Oh my God, Frosh just asked me to be on the podcast!" Like that was like I like remember that moment because I like wanted to so badly.
And
Wow.
it's like an honor because like the fact that you believe that we're like good enough to be on this podcast, we're just like, what?
And I
Like,
wanted a podcast. Like I had been planning on having my own podcast anyway, and it's like I had already believed in like the mission of this podcast. I love success stories as it is, so just hearing people's stories is like kind of along that same theme. And so I just like appreciate the podcast for what it was, and I could envision myself being in it.
Yeah, and
Man.
like having a weekly structure, like that was just awesome. Like Amber touched
Yeah.
on, like every week we'd see each other and like we can, you know, talk and like physically meet up and just learn about new people like every single week is insane.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, any project that I do is always like, it's not about me. It's always like, if like the reason that it took me a while to ask you guys and I didn't know what you guys would say is because I hold you guys to like this high standard, and I know that like any project I do with you guys is going to just be elevated on its own. It's not about like, you know, whether it be the Ronopono stuff that we do with the other guys. It's like all those guys make what the channel, like I can't do it by myself. And just because somebody has an idea or like, you know, is in a position to lead a project, whatever, like that's great. But it is truly everybody that takes a part of it. And I think that like this chemistry like was meant to be, and it's been so much fun that we got to learn together. And you know,
Definitely.
the fact is that we all have like different viewpoints on a lot of things, and we don't agree with each other on many things. So then already having that and then having another guest in it was just like a great platform to literally explore all of these topics, these conversations that can be difficult to have, but like doing it in such like an easy and understandable way where like there's no sort of limits or you know, nobody's gonna get mad or offended or whatever. Like it's gonna be a place where we can just talk and be honest.
Yeah.
That's what was like the beautiful part about this. And the conversations we had afterwards, oh man,
Yeah.
I wish we had
Yes.
recorded those.
Yeah.
Because after the guest leaves,
Strange flavors after hours.
yeah, right? Like after the guest leaves, you guys don't know this, but like we sit down with them. Sometimes people stay for like hours. Like
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
you never
continue the
know.
conversation and it just goes crazy.
Yeah,
I love it.
So it's, I mean, yeah, that has been always like a great way of doing that.
I feel like I'm gonna get dumber after this like pause. Like I'm just gonna be like, oh, I don't know about people anymore.
Well, I mean, there's a thing that's like the more you know, that like the less. That's like a saying or something. It's like the more you know, the less you know or something. I forget what it is, but it's just like when you hear about all these people and like ways of living, whatever. Maybe it's that like, you know, there's just so much that it opens your mind up that
Yeah.
there's even further things than this, and then you
Right.
just feel even smaller.
Yeah.
When you don't have these conversations with people and don't know what's out there.
You can be
and
very egocentric.
You live in a box, right? So
Yeah.
then you feel like you know everything in that box.
Right.
Yeah.
Box boy sitting with us right now, himself, Shimmer, aka DollHouse Queen.
Dollhouse Queen.
Ooh, I like that.
No, I
Dollhouse
don't like that.
Queen.
What?
Dollhouse
Why do you like
Yes,
that? No.
Queen.
Yes.
I'm not a queen.
who are some of your guys' favorite guests or episodes?
Or most memorable.
Yeah, and by the way, like every single guest
Was amazing.
did their own thing.
Amazing.
They killed it, and and that's their story, and they've been awesome. But like we definitely probably all had a favorite or
Most
a few of them, but
memorable.
most memorable one. So do you have one? You've been looking at
Yeah,
the
I mean,
walls.
I think I should go last because I have.
Are you gonna say your own friends?
No, of course not. I think you guys should start with this one.
All right, I'll go.
Yeah.
I think what really like challenged my beliefs, like with the first guest, was Eric Walther, like the guy who lived in a treehouse.
Yeah.
Cause like that was just an interesting perspective on like putting on life. Cause like I'm like I'm a type of person that's like, oh my gosh, like I need to get everything like correct, like 100%. And like he was just like, sometimes your time may be different or whatever. Like life is just so long and filled with opportunities. Like you can do whatever. So it was just like, wow, like this.
He's lying right now. He's the only guest that gave Shimmer a gift. He gave him a picture of a squirrel. That's why he's biased. So
Yeah.
And
That's why.
you framed that picture of that squirrel and put it in your room.
It came in
right?
frame.
It came to frame.
Oh well,
Yeah.
it's in your
gave to him
room.
frame.
Yeah,
But that was
but
that
it's
was
an
pretty
amazing-
awesome that he
amazing
gave you
picture.
like a picture of a squirrel.
Yeah, it was like so awesome. And everyone asks like, what's like, sometimes it'll be in the videos, they're like, why is there a squirrel picture in your room? I'm like, oh, you gotta know.
That's dope though that you really connected with him.
Yeah.
And that was the first episode too, so that's cool.
First episode?
That was our first episode, right?
No.
It was one of the first.
Yeah.
It was the first one on YouTube. That's what it was. That's what I
Okay.
remember,
Okay.
maybe.
Okay.
No, it was,
Um,
never mind.
Yeah, but that's cool. I think this was actually before you guys came on, but Tracy Smith has always been somebody that was memorable to me, and she was somebody who had a lot of different adopted children from different parts of the world, and
Oh, yeah.
That was a really cool episode.
and I just loved her story. Like she's this she's a mom who was like in her what is it called, middle-aged white woman who is back in school, and she hangs out with like people like me and whoever, like other college students.
Yeah.
And it's just so open-minded. And then like she was working her and her husband through the church, and they decided to adopt these people, and like
Yeah.
now like the way that she deals with social issues is just so different than she was raised. And like she literally has to think about like her son going out who is black, and like
African-American, yeah.
thinking about, oh, like should I be worried and things like that. And that's crazy that like
And she's aware.
it's it's
Yes.
it's not like a race issue, it's like a mom issue. It's
Yeah.
like wait, like my son is different.
Yeah.
And he's at risk because of these things, and that should not be the case.
Yeah.
And it's like that's how simple that it could be for all of us. That
Right.
like, wait, this is a mother and son, like take out races and everything like that.
Yeah.
This is a mother and son, and it doesn't matter about what the skin color is, whatever. And so like her episode, the way that she has an outlook on life and everything, like that was always just like so beautiful to me. And I guess maybe like you mentioned earlier, but like sometimes it's about people's personalities
Yeah.
more than it might be the actual content of the episode. But like
Yeah.
she's somebody who's been like a really good friend to me for a while too. I had classes with her, so she's always been one of my favorites.
That's cool.
What do you got?
Okay, so my answer is going to be kind of all over the place, but I think that the coolest part about this podcast was that we had whatever. The coolest part about this podcast was that like I learned different information from everyone. So for me, I can't say I have a favorite, but
I knew you were gonna say
Cop
that.
out.
You never
It's not a-
never have
Can
anything
you can you hear what I'm
specifically
saying?
pick.
You guys never let me talk, okay? Okay, because like for example, for Noreen, she was like my best friend,
knew
and we
it.
brought her on. But then for Jesus, we brought him in during like a political height time, like when the whole DACA thing was happening. They were trying to rescind DACA, and he was basically at risk to be sent home. Sent to a place that like we expect to be called home, and he came in at like a very interesting time. So during that time period, like that meant a lot for me that he came on. And then Asad Galani came on and talked about colors.
He was hilarious.
and
That's one of my favorite
photography.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
like he
came
came
on.
on and talked about like colors and photography and like
But the
fan
conversation was
wise.
just so different than like
Yeah.
that technical stuff. It was just
Right.
like so funny.
And then Mo Vision, like I was a fan of him when he came on, and I
Yeah.
was like,
Shout
okay,
out
you
Mo.
shouldn't meet
Mo.
your fans because it's gonna let you down, but like it didn't at all, and
Yeah.
like that was cool for me. And then like understanding like different demeanors was like Gunva with, and like she had like a
Sesame.
sesame, and so and then on top of that, everybody's flavors helped wrap it up because it gave us, after hearing their whole story, when they told their flavor, it basically spoke to how they perceive themselves.
Yeah.
And I think that was a perfect ending to every episode.
Wow. That is good. I
Yeah.
like what you said, but you still didn't pick a favorite.
How about going forward?
How about going least favorite? Let's call
Oh,
some people.
no.
What?
Oh, no.
We're not doing that?
Oh no.
No. Okay,
FARAS.
fine.
Oh wait, he didn't have an episode.
Oh.
Yeah, we need to have
Thank
an
God. No, I'm just kidding.
You don't want that.
You don't
Trust
yeah,
me.
It'd be your
Trust
least
me.
favorite. Everyone's least favorite.
Oh gosh. But you know what's interesting, guys, is that like I have always, like, when I was a kid, I used to go to the doctors. I used to ask like 1,000,001 questions. Like, it was to the point where they'd be like, you ask a lot of questions. Like, I used to get told that all the time because I was a quiet kid. But anyone who let me be comfortable with them, I asked them 1,000,000 questions. Like, if you'd be playing on a street with kids, everybody's on their bikes, I'd be next to the adult being like, so no, like asking them 1,000,000 questions. And I feel like the podcast facilitated an environment for me to respectfully ask so many people with so many different environments and so many different backgrounds and so many different perspectives questions that I was curious about. I love that.
Yeah. Okay, so going forward, what's the plan here? Like, what can people still look out from us coming?
Ooh, I don't know. I feel like everything's gonna fall and fail. I'm never gonna see you guys again, and I'm not gonna have friends.
So
and I'm
Amber's
gonna
starting
cry.
a rebellious podcast after this one where she
It's called
Goes
Flavors
solo.
strange.
Better Flavors.
Better flavors.
Dang.
No, I mean, I think this is a time to, spend a lot of energy on like things that we already have established and maybe start some new endeavors. I think this podcast will be something that will still happen, but on a less frequent basis, on like a time where I guess it will be more comfortable for us. But I think a lot of the energy will be like, on the vlogs and like putting more effort on Ronopono and a lot of the other aspects surrounding Alif Theory and just growing, that brand and stuff. I think it's like a very exciting time because, we are artists and we do want to kind of fuel this monetarily, but also make it, a realistic goal. And Strange Flavors was always a part of that. But I think for me, at least, it would be a nice break to kind of focus more heavily on other things too.
For sure, yeah. If you're not following us on our other platforms, Alif Theory is this brand that we have that kind of encompasses everything that we do, and it doesn't have to be just like YouTubing or podcasting or whatever. Like, there's tons of different projects that we're going to be taking on and that we want to take on. And so if you follow us on social media with our own handles, Frosty, Shimmer, Wally, and Akon, you can find that in the description as well, or the actual sub-brands that we have, including Ronopono and Strange Flavors. You're going to find those things always being updated and everything. So, the podcast, as far as social media goes, it's still going to be updated, and you're still going to see content from there, maybe pulled from old episodes or whatever. But yeah, like keep following us. We're definitely going to produce more content. We're not taking a break from being artists at all. If anything, we're only going like gung-ho at this thing and really just turning it up. So yeah, it's going to be, like SHAH-AMEER said, a very exciting time. And we look forward to sort of the feedback that you guys give us.
I'm graduating next month, so this is going to be an interesting time for me to see what I do
That's awesome.
with everything.
Amber's going to have a little bit more free time now, and finally she can...
What are you going to say for us? Go ahead and insult me and my
What?
lack of video creation.
I was not going to say anything. I think that Amber is more than capable of what she puts out into the world, and she's going to be crazy. Like,
I'm already crazy.
Crazier.
No, crazier. Like she's a big part of what we do and why we do it, and I think that once she reaches her full Super Saiyan mode like Shimmer has, it's gonna be unstoppable.
I think I was probably the most sad that this was coming to like a season finale, but I think that going forward, I don't know, it'll give me time to experiment. Let's see what happens.
Cool. On that note, I think it's time that we introduce for the 55th episode.
Oh, snap.
Somebody who we've been wanting on the podcast, actually, like, since I started this thing, was on my list. We have a giant list of like people that we would love to have on here, and she was somebody who was on my list from the very beginning, just because of the personality that she has. And this goes to show you that, like, it doesn't matter what somebody presents themselves as, or like does in the physical world, but who they are as a person always matters from the beginning, and you always remember that connection that you have. And this is somebody who is very good at that. And this is an episode highlighting SALSABEEL ABDELHAMID, who goes by Salsa. She's someone who has sort of lived her life for the most part a more conservative, more modest lifestyle, I guess. And she recently just had this like kind of transformation that people could see as like very sort of shocking. And so we really want to find out what does somebody go through when they have this sort of transformation, what's going on in their head, how does their family and their friends react, and what do they hope to get out of this. So Salsa is going to tell us all about that, so please welcome for our 55th episode, Salsa. Look into this.
5 minutes.
Oh, it's
maybe.
just braids. not
Yeah, I
dreads.
just stuck some braids in there.
Wait,
I feel more like myself this way.
are they real? Like, is it your real hair?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So then how do you do it? You just like do it with your fingers?
Would you think it was
Yeah,
attachments?
Well, she's like, I don't know. You do your conversation.
Oh,
yeah.
Boys are so funny.
I try to be as natural.
Because she said
as-
5 minutes. I'm like, dang, that's great.
Yeah.
That's like awesome for 5 minutes.
Yeah, just
It's
take a
not
little piece of
braided on
hair,
the
braid,
scalp.
braid, put little elastic at the end, and there you go, voila.
How long does it
Great.
take you overall to get ready, do you think?
It depends on
Like
if I'm gonna
today?
do makeup today. Well, today, I want to say 45 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, because I did my
Nice.
hair.
With the jewelry, because you have like layered
And my-
jewelry
yeah.
on. You have 2 different earrings on. Like, I love this.
Yeah,
This is
I try
awesome.
to be as eclectic as possible.
As what?
Eclectic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Wow.
welcome to our podcast.
Thank you.
It's been a long time that this was in the works.
Mhm.
You made it. Congratulations.
I am very proud.
I hope you're happy to be here.
Very happy, of course.
Why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. My name is SALSABEEL ABDELHAMID. I'm a.
That's why
Yeah,
she wanted to
that
say
accent.
it. That's why
I
she-
needed to. I needed to
accent.
honor my name in that
Yeah.
way. And I'm a Palestinian, American, and a stranger.
Okay.
And I feel like I belong to different lands, even connected to like the ethers and in that whole dimension. So yeah, I'm a being from here, but also a being from the above.
I'm already mind blown. Already mind blown.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would have said like, my name's Faras. My favorite color is yellow, and
What's up?
something.
We're
What's up,
simple
right?
people. We're simple people.
Yeah.
But the fact is that she came on like, yeah, like it's chill, like not deep,
Yeah.
and then she's like, I'm from another planet.
Right.
I am.
Okay.
I think-
All right.
yeah.
I think it's too heavy of a question right now, so we'll
Yeah.
save that one
We'll
for
save
later.
Yeah, save it. We'll
Yeah.
come
20
back.
But
minutes.
let's start this basically because here's the simple thing. I met you probably like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2-3 years ago. We went to the same school.
Mm-hmm.
You were just had a very different look, very covered up, very, I guess, modest, still very fashionable, but
Yeah, I
But-
would say so.
but more conservative, I guess.
Mm.
What
Modest
makes somebody
fashion.
go from that to the total opposite, I guess?
I wouldn't say it's the total opposite. I
Okay.
feel like it was breaking into myself and trying to ponder about the beliefs and the systems that I was told and see if it's for me. And in that process of finding myself and kind of shedding those layers, figuratively and literally.
Yes.
I became a little bit more connected to myself than I was before. And I think I always strove to challenge who I was, even as a Muslim in that space, as a covered woman. But I feel like I'm still challenging it even more.
Okay, so like how long were you feeling that way? Was it like planning like, yo, on this day, I'm gonna like...
Oh, no. It was definitely a process. I mean, becoming into yourself is not something that happens overnight. So I was if you caught me then, I feel like there were a lot of questions I was asking myself internally, but didn't feel comfortable kind of exploring them further. And then I just challenged society in the way I knew how, in the way that I felt responsible for, especially since, Muslim women have been, given a bad rep and have been really humiliated on the media and degraded in various ways. And so hijab was a political statement for me. So that's what I held close, and I felt like a rebel in that sense. But then after leaving college, I met new people, had different experiences, even pushed myself to limits that I didn't even think I would cross, and then realized that I was still here, and I was still me, and I was still very much accessing something that I had put away just in the name of respecting the boundaries of my culture, of, you know, what my parents told me, of even religion.
Was it a very difficult transition? Like, were you nervous of what people would think, or were you just like
Your family?
Of course. It's especially when it becomes physical, because the internal process was more easy. I was very much aware of how connected I was to the universe, and because sometimes you feel connected to something, but you're not able to express it. Even my connection to numbers and numerology, and seeing that synchronicity, it was all it needed is an awakening, a thought. You know, in Inception, they say how like a thought is a very parasitic thing. It's insipidus, and it has its creative. It's its own creation, and it sparks something. So even that awareness was enough to kind of guide me and push me to question things, and maybe not even question things, but access different portals of how to see things, how to access the world, how it's communicating back to me, how I'm communicating back to it.
So where does religion stand for you throughout all of this?
It is something I feel like I still believe. I believe in my higher self, in a higher power, in a higher consciousness. I feel like all of us have a connection to that higher consciousness. We are more than just this planet, this earth, and we have to understand that. I was actually listening to this video where it was talking about how we are so quick to define ourselves based on the places that we are in, and we attribute our memories and experiences and our growth based on our spaces. So we think about how we are connected to a place like, for example, Baltimore, and like you attribute that weight of Baltimore and those experiences to who you are, to your identity. So why don't we go as far as, the planet? Why don't we look at the planets, Jupiter, Mars, the influence of the sun, and those like...
But we're not on those planets, though.
Right, but everything radiates its own energy. Everything. So the way that you are feeling affects. I am able to feel. You are releasing energy, right, based on the way how you feel, how you act. You are contributing to this higher consciousness.
But okay, so I have no idea how Alaskan people are feeling right now.
Right.
How am I supposed to know what's going on in Jupiter? How do I get that?
You don't have to know. It's its own.
But like, how
it's
do you
its
know
own
that
entity.
Okay.
It's its own entity. Like we are our own entities.
What is this like system of beliefs that we're talking about right now?
I feel like I'm just a spiritual being connected.
So this is like your thoughts.
It's not even my thoughts. It's a science. It's like, if you think about it, we are. So I believe in astrology, right? Okay. In astrology, and I believe in the workings of a planet, of a higher consciousness, of a higher existence. So for us, we are on Earth, right? And we are.
Wait.
Yes.
She's a flat earther.
I'm not.
I'm
not a flat earther. Oh my gosh. I'm not.
Bro, that took a turn.
What kind of energy does that radiate?
Oh my god. I'm literally not a flat earther, by the way.
Well, I mean, everyone has their own opinions.
I'm not a flat earther.
I believe you. I know he was messing with you.
No. I'm not though.
Oh.
Amber, own your beliefs.
I don't.
Yeah, own your beliefs.
See her over here like literally talking about portals.
Okay, excuse
Yeah.
me.
She's a teleporter, and you're not owning
I
up to
wish
being a
I was
flat
the
earther.
teleporter.
Okay, hold on. Let me change this a little bit.
Huh.
So, do you think that how you are and like you're a very spiritual being and you feel like you're connected through
Yeah.
like energies and things like that? Do you think that it takes a certain type of person? Like, for example, mediums can connect with like ghosts and things like that. Do you think it takes a certain type of person? Because I can't feel the same things you feel. Is that because you yourself
the
think that you,
topic there.
the type of person you are, connects through spirits in the same way with your partner? Are you guys connected in that way because you guys like speak to energies, whereas some people are mediums and other people, you know, just don't connect that way?
I mean, you don't have to. Okay, there are a lot of things I need to break down, but simply
Like everything.
you.
Does that make sense though, where I'm coming
Yeah,
from? Like,
yeah, for sure.
It takes a certain type of person.
The thing is, everyone has access to this, so we all have a higher being, a higher self. Well, actually, some of us don't. I misspoke. Some of us don't have a higher self. Some people cannot access. But it is about aligning our chakras, and we all have you know, our third eye, our crown chakra, and our throat chakra, and it's about kind of aligning those and opening those up. So we all have work to do. So if we feel, for instance, blocked at our root, that means we are not secure in where we are. So in order to access those, in order to access that relationship, that higher spirituality within oneself, you have to do the work. So if you feel, you know, uncomfortable in where you are, your home is not secure, and you feel unrooted, and that's causing you a lot of internal trauma.
Okay,
per
so you're
se.
saying like it's a science and you can unlock it. What does one do to unlock these things and open their third eye and align their
mean,
chakras?
It's honestly doing the work, meditating, being connected to where you find blockages. See if you have a closed sacral, that means, you know, you may be having, you know, unhealthy sexual patterns or unable to create freely. If you know, I have some times where I feel blocked creatively because, you know, in our sacral, that's the part of, that's our sexual energy, our creative energy. And so I need to explore, okay, what's blocking this? Is it, you know, is there a fear that I need to get rid of to heal and unlock this so I'm able to have that energy flow out of me and so I can create a little bit more smoothly? I mean, astrology in essence, so I believe in like zodiac signs. What are your zodiac signs, by the way?
Can you
No,
guess? Wait, no,
no,
hold on.
whatsoever, come on.
I
Can you
don't
get?
like
Can
the
you
zodiac
guess?
thing.
Can you guess? Is there a way? Is this a thing? Is this too much pressure?
I love to guess for fun, but
Okay,
I've never
yeah,
really,
let's guess for fun.
accurate.
Let's guess for fun.
I feel like I don't know you well enough.
Just try.
Shit.
His demeanor, you know, so let's start with him.
What the heck?
I feel like you're an air sign, Gemini or Aquarius.
No.
No, fuck. What are you?
But actually, yeah, I'm a Gemini.
You are?
No, no.
What are you? Come on.
No, I just like to see. I like telling people the wrong one, and then they're
No,
like,
no, no.
"Oh, I knew it."
I'm guessing very blindly because I feel like I don't have a lot of context.
Listen, I'm like the
Are you a Libra?
I'm the spokes.
You think he's
I'm the
a Libra?
spokesperson for all the on this podcast. I'm like the spokesperson for like the ignorant, for the
That's why I
for
said
the
Gemini.
offensive. I'm like the Charlemagne of this podcast, like Charlemagne the
I
God,
wonder,
and
I
like
think
Simon
The
Cowell.
devil's advocate.
Because they're too nice.
Ah,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, devil's advocate.
Okay.
Because I think that those people are listening right now. Let me tell you honestly. Right now, there's a lot of people listening that are like, "How is everybody on the same page right now?" Like,
Yeah.
let me, like, if I was on my podcast, I would honestly ask like, what are you talking about? Where did you get this stuff from? Like, what? Okay, so, like, when you're talking right now, like, what are your, like, has anybody ever told you like, this is what, if you're still like a believer of your religion or whatever, like, are there people that say like, you know, you're going against what this says, and
Oh,
these
for
thoughts that you
sure.
have about science and this and that are actually from the devil, and you have like these
definitely.
jinn or ghostly things attached to you?
Yeah,
And what
and
is your thought process
response.
and response through that?
I feel like that is a response just based in fear of just not knowing, not understanding. That's where usually misunderstandings are birthed from, just not knowing. And that's like something I've learned even as a Muslim. Like there are, you know, misinterpretations of who I am because you just don't know. And the media has shaped what astrology is, what zodiac signs are, in a very occult and dark and mystical and very not factual way, where in essence the astrological signs are like the seasons. You can't just not believe in it. If you celebrate your birthday, if you believe, you know, if you hold that date to be, you know, something you cherish, you're in essence believing in astrology. Because when you were born, what's your birthday? Or maybe,
I hate my birthday.
Okay,
I hear you saying this right now that like you cherish. I don't like my birthday.
well, I mean, you still recognize that you were born on that day, right?
Like factually.
And that's it. That's like saying, okay, I'm not going to acknowledge it's winter, so I'm not going to go outside with a coat on, just
But
because
I
I
can
don't
feel
believe
the
it.
winter.
Exactly,
I
and you
don't-
can feel. And here's the thing. Let me go into it. For me,
Go
since you
into
won't tell me your birthday. I was born January 20th.
I just don't want everybody. I'll tell you later. but-
1994.
Okay. Wait, January what?
20th,
Okay.
1994. So I'm an
Capricorn.
Aquarius. No,
Oh, okay.
I'm actually Capricorn cusp, but my degrees are in Aquarius.
Whoa.
What does that
What?
even mean, bro?
It's a whole
Oh,
science. It's a
okay.
Rubik's Cube. Just bear with me. So when I was born, the sun was in Aquarius. The moon, my moon sign is Taurus. So the moon was rotating, was passing the astrological sign of Taurus. The sun was passing the astrological sign of Aquarius when I was born. And Mars, there's a whole sign for that. You know, my Uranus is in Aquarius, my Pluto's in Scorpio, my rising
What do
is
you mean my Pluto, my Uranus?
so what?
Like,
So everyone
where it
has
was at that time?
has their own natal chart. So when you were born, all the planets were at a certain astrological sign.
Oh, Yemi was talking about this.
So
it would be
and
good to
and I
get them
never
in the
get it.
same
I
room.
never
You never
understand
get
what he
it.
said.
So basically, the sun
He said
is
the same thing. I get
No,
it.
but
I'm following along.
passing
Go.
the astrological sign
But
of
what
Aquarius.
what does that mean? It
So
shapes the law?
okay. So
Okay,
yeah.
the sun sign is how you move through the world. That is
But
how you
okay,
move.
so does that work as an excuse though?
No, hold on. I want to hear her explanation for this.
Like, can I be like, okay,
No,
so
that
somebody
doesn't-
tells me like, you know what, like you're too blunt, whatever. Can I just be like, but the moon was passing Jupiter when this happened, so that is why I am that way.
You're speaking
change
out
it,
of
or-
ignorance right now.
Like I literally
In a
am
way.
because I don't know.
Purposely.
Yeah, exactly. Because you don't know.
So that's what I'm trying
No
to get. Like,
offense. Yeah.
yeah.
So let me break it down to you. My moon sign. So the
Okay.
sun is how you walk, present yourself into the world. The moon sign is your internal world.
Mhm.
Mercury is the fastest planet that rotates around the sun. So what's the quickest thing you can do? Overthink. So that is the planet of communication, the planet of thought.
Okay.
How I think is channeled through an Aquarius. Aquariuses are very, they're like the evil scientists in a way. They're the rebels. They're not traditional. They like to challenge things. So their minds are very scientific. They're very rebellious, nonconformist, that energy.
Okay. Can you explain? Because one of us is a Leo.
Oh.
What is the characteristics of a Leo?
So,
Amber.
okay.
I want to see how this goes. I want to see if they
Yeah,
align.
this is interesting.
Here's the thing. So the way that I explain certain things are from a natal chart, we have different aspects of ourselves. So we're a Rubik's Cube. So my Venus is the way I channel my feminine energy. Mars is the masculine energy. And so like there are different, and your signs could be in different signs in those
Right.
planets.
So
But
do you need me to tell you a year, or is the Leo good enough?
I mean, Leo, it's just like it's represented by the sun. So what do the suns do? Shine bright. They love to be they love to be noticed. They love to like kind of they are very loving. They have a really, really big heart, and if they really will fight for something that they love for wholeheartedly. And they're like the lions. They like about the way they look sometimes. Some Leos don't, depending on like their moon sign and whatever, but they really do care about like how they present themselves to the world. And yeah, I mean, that's all I can say. I'm not the best.
No,
I mean,
but it's just like, you know, kind of like a general,
Yeah.
like, you know.
a little guideline. But
Right.
yeah, it's very telling. I don't know. It's very telling.
Let me ask you another question.
Yes, go on.
Okay, so she hates me right now.
No, I love this. This is what
Okay.
I was ready for.
Okay, so like when you say, you know, some people don't know, and we have access to these things, right? So somebody who grows up in a conservative town and financially can't make it out or whatever, has no access to any other knowledge of the way that people live or, you know, possibilities of it, and get that education or that money to go even, they can't talk to people like you.
It's not
or
about
anybody.
money. It's about just being aware of, okay, if I am going to come into this world and I am going to present myself as, I'm going to move through this world and be a XYZ person, be an evil person. That is something that I am contributing to the overall collective. You know what I mean? Like what you put out into the world will affect everyone in its own domino effect. So just at least at the bare minimum, holding yourself accountable to what you give and take. You know what I mean? And also making sure that you don't have a heavy heart at the end of the day, because that's what it all comes down to. If something that you are doing does not resonate with your soul, does not resonate with your being, with your consciousness, regardless of what other people say is right or wrong, at the end of the day, if you have a heavy heart, that's what it's going to come down to.
So let me ask you, do you feel like that the level of, I guess, spirituality that you're at right now, do you feel like other people are missing out on that you may be like at a higher place than, like, do you feel sorry for people because it's like
They're not aware.
they're not aware as you, and they could have that same, not like
There are
not like
many
that you're better,
paths.
but you know,
There are many paths to the yogi. So at the end of the day, if you are walking your life in the way that you know how, with your path that resonates with your soul, you have done your duty.
I like
Okay.
that.
Nice.
Okay.
That doesn't make me feel guilty.
No. and that's the thing. There are many ways, there are many different paths to enlightenment. You know what I mean? Through
For
Islam,
sure.
you can get through that. My mom is very religious, and that is her strength and her power, and I love it because I see how that Islam has gotten her through a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And she has been able to rise above it, and it's beautiful through Islam, and that was her way. I just, yeah.
You had your own.
Question. So, moving on from like astrology and stuff, you had a project called The Dykes Will Feast in Hell.
Oh yeah.
And you also, you said you have a partner, and I don't know how like you guys identify or anything, but can you kind of talk about that and the role that played in your life and why that project started and stuff?
Yeah, so I was in this program with the Sanctuaries DC. It was an art program, and I was a visionary responders working with Ivy City, which is a city that is undergoing a lot of gentrification. And so as a part of this program, we kind of had to explore ourselves and work together with a partner, with another fellow artist. So I worked with this amazing photographer, Conrado Maluk, and he kind of, we wanted to do something with strangers and try to like, it was all about messaging. So we had to come up with a powerful message. What resonated with me at the time was my sexuality and being fluid and being queer. And I wanted to speak on that, especially since I had come out freshly in that program. I had actually come out in that program and to my dad, and that was its whole journey. And so
Can we talk about that too?
yeah,
Okay.
of course. And as a power statement, since I really do speak through my clothes and I do like to do some really uncomfortable messaging, I decided to go for the Dykes Will Feast in Hell, because it really does make people uncomfortable. And that's what I love, because uncomfortability brings about change, some form of growth. If you feel uncomfortable, if something is bothering you, it's going to be in your mind and you're going to be forced to think about it, think about why it bothers you. So yeah, and it was kind of like a big F you to like everyone who tried to stop me, who tried to make me feel like undeserving or guilty about the person I choose to love. So yeah.
So the message behind it was
basically, I am going to love whoever I want, and we are going to love whoever we want, and regardless if, you know, this is going to get me into quote unquote hell, I don't care. I will revel in my love, regardless of, you know, where you think I belong in your own dogmatic faith. Just because you do not understand, or you fear, or you have been programmed to think that this love is unnatural or not okay.
You know what's crazy is like when you, I think for a lot of people, they saw you over Instagram, like
my whole transformation.
Your transformation, right? So this is what's crazy. Like I'm going through Instagram and I'm like shocked when I see you post something like that. But on the rest of my Instagram feed, it's like, you know, Kim K will pop up or whoever, and it's just like, oh, cool, like whatever.
Exactly.
We'll just swipe by. And those people, Kim K, Beyonce, whoever, they can dress like whatever, and they can still be influential people, and I can still like them and follow them. But when it comes to you, it's like, wait, why do I have to stop and like be shocked at this? Did you get a lot of unfollows? Did people reach out to you like, are you okay, Salsa? Like, what's going on?
I had a couple people ask me about, there were some people who were very proud of me, and I can't deny the love that I got and the support. But yeah, there are also people who are very uncomfortable, and if I got unfollowed, I didn't notice.
True.
I don't really care about that.
So then your family, how did your family take it coming out and everything?
Yeah, it's very.
And also,
it's
have you always known that you were queer, or that you?
I didn't really date many guys, many men. I was very much, I was very strict about like who I was with, and if I was going to be with someone, it was someone that I was really serious with. And yeah, I didn't really, during college, didn't really date, Did you
like realize like, you know, your sexuality and stuff?
The thing is, it kind of happened very suddenly. I just noticed, I was at Barnes & Noble and there was a security guard that I was really fond of, and I was like, damn, what does this mean? What the fuck?
As a girl.
Yeah, it was a girl. But I
was
love
Sakina, the person that you were with?
No. It was it was this other girl. And I love challenging myself. So if I do something that shocks me, I'm like, oh, what? Okay, like, let's see what happens. I'm not gonna feel like, I'm not going to be scared of this. Granted, there was a week where I was going crazy in my mind, like, okay, am I gay? Am I lesbian? Oh my gosh, like, what does this mean? Do I have to come out? Like, how is that gonna happen? So there was that panic initially, but afterwards, you kind of just get flooded in the moment and the excitement and just the experience.
Okay, so then go ahead and talk about like your family and all that stuff.
Yeah, so I came out beginning of this year, kind of like sometime around February, March time, Aries season. Looking at you, FARAS, purposefully. And I only told I'd come out to my sister initially from like my first relationship. She was kind of the person who kind of knew exactly what was going on. And it wasn't easy on her, rightfully so, because I understood that, you know, we have our own indoctrinations, especially since she held on to her faith. And for me, my faith evolved. And I told my dad just there was this one day I was just like, I can't keep this a secret anymore. It's killing me.
Was that the highest person
Yeah.
for you to like, the hardest person for you to tell?
Yeah, that was the person I really cared about telling.
Okay.
And I felt like maybe when I tell him, I will be free.
Okay.
And I told him it went as I thought it would go. He used religion as a form of as a crutch, as basically like, I can't support you because this doesn't fall along my faith and my guiding principles.
Was he like angry or?
It was on the phone actually.
Oh, okay.
So he was definitely angry. He was definitely upset.
What did you tell him exactly? Like just dad?
Yeah.
I was scared out of my mind.
Sure.
But I just knew, like, I was getting all the signs. I was getting all the numbers thrown at me.
What? I
just love looking at you when I say those things.
No, I like numbers and animals and things like that too. I get and colors. Like I swear to God, I really gravitate towards like I love telling people like you're this animal, you're this color, you're whatever. Like I really love that. So I get that, but some things I don't get yet, and that's what I'm trying to get.
And that's totally cool.
I want to hear the rest of this dad story.
Basically I told him, hey Baba, like I love you so much. I care about you and I care about this relationship, and the reason why I haven't told you this is because I'm scared of losing you. And I told him that, and he just wanted me to tell him what it was, and I told him I'm with a woman. That's what I told him, because for Arabs, fluid. What is fluid? What is queer?
Yeah, exactly.
What is bi? If you're bi, be with a guy. Like, what do you mean? So I was just like, I'm in a woman. You know what I mean?
That sounds like a funny motto, like that.
Be with a guy.
like at a
for
school
some
or
reason
something.
that logic just clicks with
Yeah.
my that whole construct. So yeah, I told him that, and he wasn't with the shit. So he was like, you broke my heart, and he wanted, I don't want to out him, but I think this is the place that he chose to respond to, and he told me, like, give me the car, give me your phone, and like, and that kind of dependence on those items that he had provided me was, something he decided to take away in order to respond to me coming out to him.
At this point, were you living with your parents?
No, that's the main reason why I had to leave, because I knew that if I came, that's why it took me so long, a year, to come out. I told myself, okay, I'm going to get a job, I'm going to move out, and so at least I don't have to risk, the head on, the roof I live under, you know what I mean? So I don't need to do that.
So you had already moved out.
Yeah, and the car was something I really wanted to kind of distance myself from and kind of get something else going, but I knew that needed more time. But when it's about material versus love, like, I'm not gonna be hung up on some material.
Were you understanding of where he was coming from?
I have to be I have to be understanding, but then again, I don't have to be. Like, I totally get where he's coming from. I understand what is echoing in his mind. I feel like a part of it is also, what do other people think, and what will other people think when they find out? And a part of that hurts because of that, because I was such a model child. I was he was the person. He would brag about the things I would do. I would surpass his. Yeah, he was very proud of me. Like, he would just brag about my art, my writing, my everything. And now that it's, this script has kind of been flipped, and I'm kind of growing into my own and being more brave about expressing these unconventional things about myself, it's a little too much for him. And I understand that people need time, and I hope that one day he will find security in our relationship that goes past, the things that he believes. Because at the end of the day, you believe what you believe, I believe what I believe, but that doesn't mean that our love has to be jeopardized.
Do you still talk to your family and or anything, or is it?
It's crazy because I'm going through this really interesting phase where I'm not as close to my family as I was before. I tried to be very present. Even when I moved out, I try to come there like every week, every other week. But now it's a little bit more distant. I try to reach out to them, and I still have a relationship with my siblings, I would say. My mom I try to talk to, but my dad, we haven't had a conversation yet. And I'm being stubborn, but it's just because I feel like I kind of put my heart on the line, and it was still kind of shunned. And
how was your mom's reaction to all this?
They don't want let me rephrase this. I have not told my mom yet.
Wow.
Yeah. So my mom is kind of living in an interesting thing. She knows that there's tension between me and my dad.
She doesn't know why.
She doesn't know why.
Are
She
your
thinks it
parents
might
not
be
together?
They are.
Oh, so they didn't communicate it with each other?
They don't want to tell her. Then they don't want me to tell her. So because they think that, I mean, my mom is way more religious than my dad, and she holds on to her faith like very strongly and very passionately.
So what does she think is happening?
I mean, obviously she's not stupid. She knows something is going on. She knows that there's, a disagreement between me and my dad.
Does she see you?
They recently moved out to Laurel, so I don't have a car. So it's really difficult to visit them.
She doesn't have Insta?
Oh, well, she knows exactly. She thinks it's because I took off my hijab.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she thinks that maybe that's it.
Okay.
But my dad's not telling her much. But yeah, a
Do you
little
hope
bit
that
of
this
family
all
dynamics.
changes one day? Do you hope that your family is back into your life, or that you're back into theirs, or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, yes, I love my family very much. I love that connection. I yearn for that connection. I understand that it just takes time, and, there are some things that, they need to heal. And I know that my mom will eventually find out, and that's going to be a whole process in its own. It's going to be its own journey. But I am not going to be regretful for being true to myself. I am not going to let myself live in this fear or this guilt and trap myself when I am being 100% authentic to who I am, and that's making me so happy, happier than I've been.
Well, what are your views on hijab? Is it still, or like your friends that wear one or anything, and would you ever put one on? Just
I think that it's a very beautiful thing. I do. Sometimes I'll wear I'll wrap a little turban if I want. Even energetically, it's a form of protection. Like locking your hair, it's a form of protection. It helps you channel information, and the scarf has its own spiritual and religious purposes. But for me right now, I think I'm very open to people dressing the way that they want to. I mean, at the end of the day, you dress how you feel comfortable, whatever resonates with your soul, whatever speaks to you, whatever you're comfortable with.
You know what's different than what a lot of people I feel like I've spoken to that I guess went through something similar or whatever. It feels like more of a rebellious act towards a religion that they felt imprisoned by. And for you, it seems like you've kind of channeled everything that the religion has gave you, and you're almost treating it like an advancement, or you called it a what do you say? You said my faith evolved.
Yeah.
So it's like you're not going.
I mean, I don't claim Islam anymore.
Okay.
Just to define that, but I do feel like some of those main principles, the beautiful aspects of Islam that I really resonated with, that really shaped me on a very spiritual level, are still with me in a way. And but then I have to go into does this really resonate with me, or is it something that I've been told and fed? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
But I did have a very positive experience with Islam. I have no resentment towards it. I mean, sure, it blocked me from certain things, and it put guilt in my sexuality and even sex, and even these really small things. It put these blockages, maybe not with the religion itself, but the culture and the people.
Wait, you consider yourself fluid, right?
Yeah.
What does that like mean?
I mean, I'm not trying to limit my sexuality. As
Okay.
far as, if I have a connection with a person, that is enough.
Okay.
You
So is
know?
that different from bi?
Yeah, because bi, I mean, men and women.
Okay.
Fluidity is, if, someone chooses not to identify with a certain gender,
Okay.
like I respect that.
Mm.
But also I recognize that, each of us has the divine feminine and the divine masculine in us. And so it is up to us, or at least, feminine and masculine, yin and yang, and it is up to us to kind of balance those two out. People want to say men do not have a feminine side or a feminine energy, but no, everyone contains both. It's just a matter of, kind of balancing out the scales.
So spiritually, you had the spiritual transformation, you had, a sexuality type transformation. These are all personal things.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that everyone could see was your change in modest clothing to more, expressive clothing and how you feel and how you wanted to wear it and stuff.
Yeah.
So, people, I guess you were close to before, friends and stuff, like, how was their reaction to it, / how did you decide to do that? Taking the hijab off, changing your style, or not even style,
Yeah.
but the way that you dress.
I try not to overthink things too much because then I get stuck in my head. So I try to just do based on feeling. The transition between me having the scarf and taking it off, it was more so honoring my new spirituality and not being bound by, what another faith said when I clearly no longer hold that faith in my heart. So it's about being authentic and genuine and not just putting on face just because it's more comfortable. So for me, it was like, I need to take this hijab off, although it's the most uncomfortable thing for me right now because I started wearing the hijab at first grade. So very, very young.
That's a long
very,
time.
very young, yeah. And I never took it off. Never, ever, ever. Never even really, I thought of it here and then, but it never really spoke to me. My faith was my everything. It was my, it really nurtured my soul at the time. So I didn't have any sort of, I don't know, it resonated with me at the time. But then I realized that no, this faith didn't, Islam didn't hold that thing in my heart anymore. And so I have to be authentic and genuine.
So if you feel like, Islam held kind of a pathway for you for a good chunk of your life, and then now this is a transformation, you called it, right? A transformation to a new way. Is there a possibility of, in 10 years, that you can transform into another system of beliefs?
I'm just going to go where my soul takes me.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever speaks to me. I feel like I have found a faith that really in a way of life that really speaks to me, and it's just about growing that and nurturing that and understanding that more and opening up that world even more and accessing different parts of myself through that. But yeah, I'm not one to set everything in stone. Everything is kind of fluid.
Yeah. When you were wearing hijab, you did wear it very proudly.
Yes.
Another thing that you held very proudly was your nationality. And I remember you would always be advocating for Palestine. And are you still into all of that and wanting to go back to Palestine?
Yeah, actually, I want to plan a trip there really, really badly. I miss Palestine. The first time I went, I I'd met all my family, so it was very, very tight knit, and I didn't really get to explore the land. And I feel very drawn to Palestine. It's like in my blood. It's
Why?
It's in my blood. It's where my ancestors are from. I feel like that even previously, like the Bedouins there, they follow the earth in the way that I feel like I follow the earth. They are attuned to nature, to everything, and they are among the land. They live off the land in every respect. And I feel like I need to learn more about that. I feel drawn to that. And even my energy seeking that life, that, way, that people is telling. It's almost like remembering.
Yeah. Would you ever want to do like any sort of project there? With your
Yeah,
artsy self?
so me and Sakina always say that we want to go there and just interview people.
And what is Sakina's background, by the way?
She's black. She's
African American?
Yeah, African American. Beautiful woman.
She had to pause.
Yeah,
She's struck.
I was a little
cute.
struck for a second. Yeah, and she
she's interested
actually
in going to Palestine. Did she know?
Oh yeah, she when she was in high school, she would do projects about Palestine all
Oh,
the
really?
time.
Wow.
Yeah, so she would like advocate about Palestine, and she actually was she was Muslim for a little bit.
Really?
She was actually Salafi Muslim, which is even stricter. So she had a different.
She was born Muslim?
She was raised Muslim. So like her mom converted, and her dad actually converted her mom.
This is so interesting.
And she actually had that.
Are y'all gonna have a movie or?
This is intense. This just got so much more deeper, and I didn't think that was possible.
Yeah. So she had her own experience. So we feel, and it's funny because when she told me her name was Saki, I was like, "Is your name Sakina?" Because my name is Salsa, and it's also a food, but it's not salsa. So.
Your name is dope. Like I'm sure
thank
you've
you.
always been happy with having such an awesome name.
Yeah.
What are the forms of art that you partake in?
Oh, I try to do everything. I try not to limit myself. So I like painting on clothing, do a lot of wearable protests, and just drawing, painting. Did I say that already? Probably. I do a little bit of embroidery. I need to get back to that. Yeah.
Like hand?
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, I did these like embroidered chokers at one point that I really loved, but I start something and then I kind of fall off the wagon.
It is also like there's a lot of like culture in what you do too, which is like really cool.
Tatris in
You
Palestine.
change the language, or you'll throw in like a flag or something like that.
Yeah.
And that always shows like your uniqueness to everything that you do, especially your clothes. I notice when you paint things or you put it together, it's like, okay, that is so salsa.
Yeah, I try to be authentically me in the way I know how, and my art is I take it as almost my ancestors speaking through me and communicating with me. You know what I mean? Because the pieces that I create, they come very naturally. I never plan a piece. I go straight on, and there's something magical about that. About just being able to create on the spot without even knowing what I'm going to make, and it's just coming out and it speaks to me.
So what would you do back home if you were to visit again?
In Palestine?
Yeah.
I would get to know different people. I would try to explore. There are
You were
these
telling me about a documentary you would want to do before we
Yeah, I want to go into visit like the Negev, the people in the Bedouins, the Sumara, my Khalti Nabila, my aunt Nabila, who passed away, Allah yarhamha, she would be connected with these Bedouins, and when I visited her, I was very lucky enough to see her congratulate, get an envelope, like a little invitation to a wedding of theirs, and no one gets invited to the weddings. Like it's very, very small and intimate. And so she was she had lived with them previously, so she was invited, and we drove up the mountains and got to see like a little peek of like what was going on. Unfortunately, like we were just still stuck in the taxi the whole time. We didn't really get the chance to go out. And yeah, the first time I was mainly indoors. So I just want to discover new people. There's a music festival in Palestine with some really amazing, dope like artists. Yeah, that I want to go to. There are these. Yeah, Debka, of course. Debka and knafe. Oh, all the food. Falafel, shawarma. Yeah, I'm ready for all that. And I just want to, get to know even the youth. Like I want to find the rebels of Palestine.
Yeah.
There are like these drag sisters, like speed racers, and they're women, and they're so badass. I want to get to know them. I want to have like a meal with them, sit and talk, maybe like try to race with them. I don't know. I
get to know DJ Khaled. He's like a rebel.
DJ Khaled has enough recognition. He doesn't need to know me.
Career-wise, like what do you have planned?
Yeah, well, right now I'm an autism support coach for adults with autism, and I love my job. Yeah. But I just want to go into creating whatever it may be, creating, visuals, art, documentaries, music. I want to sing more.
Ooh, you can sing.
She can sing. Salsa can do everything, and she can definitely sing.
I want to try to sing better, but yeah.
Stop it. Not a little bit.
But yeah, I want to make clothes. I want to put on like shocking galleries and exhibitions, and just, I don't know, whatever calls me to it,
so
or whatever I call.
This way it does make sense for wherever your spirit takes you.
Yeah. I just want to create and be, and kind of, I don't know, I want to be a kitchen witch in a way.
Can this episode be like a million hours long?
Just a master in the kitchen.
A master in the kitchen?
Yeah, I love cooking. I love cooking, and I love also making. I want to learn more about remedies with like herbs and stuff.
What do you not love?
Yeah, is there things that you like that are evil that you stay away from?
That are evil?
There's evil energy, right?
There's dark energy.
Am I dark energy?
I mean, everyone possesses a dark and light side. Everyone has a shadow.
Is it like some people have more of a dark shadow than
some
others?
people are not able to, some people are more comfortable with their shadow side, so they operate on that and on those terms. And some people are imbalanced, and they are they don't understand or embrace their shadow side, so they're going to channel that in a very unhealthy way. It's just about integrating both and accepting both, our light and our dark.
By the way, do you and Sakina agree on all of this, or do you guys kind of still have things that you're like, she believes something else, you believe something else?
I mean, okay, the foundation of this.
About it a lot.
Oh, I mean, yeah, of course. This is our life, this is our way of living and thinking, and I mean, it's really hard to unthink when you have this open, Yeah. But the foundation is science. The foundation is so factual that at least the basis is non-questionable. It's just me. I feel like I'm more of in a learning phase. Mm-hmm. So I have access to different information. She has access to different information. But at the same time, each has its merit. There are different perspectives, different worldviews, and so it's just about accessing different views and integrating them or choosing not to. Yeah. I mean, whatever resonates with me, I will take, and whatever doesn't, I'll leave. And that's with everything,
Dope. Well, listen, if we said anything that sort of offended you or anything, I'm sorry about that. We're all trying our best to.
It is all good.
Represent the people that are listening and are like, you know what, I have these questions and everything, and honestly, these are questions that I wonder too. And you challenge yourself. I feel like we should all always challenge ourselves. So I thank you for opening our minds. If you have it all, for anybody that's listening.
Thank you so much.
It did take you a while to get on this podcast. Why did you agree to do this? This could have totally went south. Why did you agree to do this?
Well, I just thought that it was a really good opportunity. I always like talking to you. Honestly, even that conversation at the bun shop was very enlightening and very, you know, I was at a different space, but I feel like it carried that same vibration, you know, of exploration, of
I was
challenging.
listening to you and still mind blown. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't say anything. I was just like, No,
but yeah, and I mean, it's funny that you say that because, or it's funny that I even bring it up, the conversation at the bun shop, because I physically appeared to be someone else, but I carried that same vibration. You know what I mean? I carried that same essence. So in my mind,
that's what I was wondering the whole time.
Things
like,
haven't really
did
changed.
You know then? Because even then I was like,
I didn't
okay,
have the language.
I'm not like a toucher, hugger at all in the
Yeah.
first place, but I also like am respectable to especially women that wear hijab and everything. I know that there are further limitations with that. So I'm kind of always just like a nodder, you know, regardless. It doesn't matter if she has hijab or not. I always do that anyways.
Yeah.
But especially towards women that wear hijab. And that day I was just like, okay, like I'll sort of like leave that gap and like I'm just trying to be respectable as possible. And she went in for a hug, so I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
that's how I challenge myself. Like even, you know, I decided that hugging was something that I loved to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I didn't want that boundary. So
I hate hugging.
you hate hugging?
Yeah.
Oh,
But that's not because of
whoa.
like, it's just so many factors, like
Yeah.
just
I feel
Were
that.
you
comfort
cradled as
zone
a
and
child?
germs and
Yeah, I'm like.
no. Oh, my mom. Oh, I'll
No.
hug her. I love hugging my mom.
Oh,
like,
okay. Well, there you go.
But I don't know. It's just hugging in general. Maybe because it's not as intimate as what a hug means to me. Maybe that's what it is. Like when I hug my mom, it's like out of pure like love and
Yeah.
whatever. But when people are just like, oh,
Hugging
hug,
for greeting.
it's just like a
Yeah.
nah. I'd rather not. And also, it's
I
not.
try to give good hugs. I try to make them intentional.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess you're always thinking out of love, and maybe
Yeah.
I'm just more so
And that's-
skeptical.
You have to earn this
You just
hug.
have to.
I didn't give you a skeptical hug, by the way. This is not what that's about.
Oh no, that's not what it's about. I didn't think
It was
about
like
that.
because I knew that you were like, and I was like, It was like a good.
Yeah.
It was like positive
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah,
So I was
for
like,
sure.
okay, cool.
Yeah,
But
just,
usually it's just like, I don't know, trust issues. I don't know.
yeah, just operating. Well, all you have to do is operate in love and heal the fear.
If this was like, if we weren't doing a podcast, I would probably, after everything that you say, probably like take like 5 minutes to think and then ask you something, because I feel like a lot of this was just like,
I love talking to y'all.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was really fun.
well, okay, so for people listening, like we were asking a lot of questions that like we were wondering this whole time. But if you don't know Salsa yet, she is this dope artist. Please go check out her work. Can you, for like, just leave a last sort of message if you'd like, or like tell people where they can find you online, and we'll link it up in the description.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, sel.sa.beel, Salsabeel. And you can find some of my art. I drew some, photos here and there. I try to give a little here and there. But yeah, if you want to buy any pieces, I do some custom work. Hit me up.
Hit her up.
Yeah.
We always end our podcast with one last super important question. And Shimmer will ask you that right now.
If you could describe yourself in any flavor, what flavor would it be and why?
Ooh.
Oh God.
Spicy mango.
Ooh.
Explain.
Yeah, I needed to put the spicy in there because salsa, everything with a little kick, a little drizzle of, spice.
A little drizzle.
Yeah.
The shoulder shrug.
And mangoes, I was obsessed with mangoes, still obsessed with mangoes as a kid. I would, my aunt would have a bowl of mangoes in her kitchen. I literally plop myself down and just eat at them, and just my hands would be dripping of mango. And yeah, they would buy mangoes especially because of me.
They are sweet
And-
like you.
Yes, very sweet.
People don't understand our like people from that part of the world, our obsession with mangoes, because they've never, like, mangoes here are just not even
Close.
Yeah.
They're not.
No.
They're a different fruit. They
Yeah.
don't understand that obsession.
Even figs from Palestine and olives. Oh,
Really.
olives. Oh yeah. Olives and pickles.
Awesome.
I know.
Go to Palestine, get some olives and pickles. I'll
Yeah.
remember that. Well, thank you again so much. We really appreciate you
Yeah,
like
thank
being
you.
so open and telling
Thank
us
you.
your story. We hope that this has helped other people too. And yeah, best of luck to you. Please keep in touch.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
And for everybody listening, it's been another week.
Another flavor.
A little less stranger.
We'll talk soon.
Are you coming to